I'm ready. All right, I got everything. All of these devices. Everything is ready. So, what I want to talk about today. 3 ways. So, I'm going to start it off right. I'm going to punch y'all and get it over with versus trying to spoon feed your baby food. Okay? We passed that. Discipline. If you want to shift from how you were doing things in 2022, what you were doing, the money you were making in 2022, bear with me. I'm about to try to see if I could clean this, make it a little better. It didn't. The money you were making, the life you were living, you want all of that to shift. One of the major ways to get there is through discipline. Like, a lot of times people think it's external factors that's causing them to be broke, be frustrated, be in the wrong relationship, be fat, and some people say be overweight, be, edges falling out. Like, it's a lot of time a lack of discipline. People don't want to. I was listening to the 12-week year, and he said people don't want to be uncomfortable. And I noticed I never say anything about work. Like, you got to work more. You got to, I don't subscribe to that. I think you might experience more work during certain seasons as you're positioning and growing and trying to figure out what roles you need to fill with hiring. However, there is a level of discipline. And we're going to see how many people going to go, yeah, let me get my discipline together. Because you know how many people call me, sign up and say, I just need somebody to hold me accountable. I'm not calling you and telling you to do nothing. I had a client call. That's not my job. You will get email reminders that say you have an appointment coming up. I might ask you once to send over something you were supposed to send. But I don't run behind clients. When I first started doing client work, being a consultant, many years ago, 2015, 2016, I made that mistake where that's not my job. My job is to help you grow your business, make more money, be the best version of yourself inside of your business. Make sure your business is running efficient. Make sure you have access to the tools you need to make the most amount of money that you can make. And that is always growing and elevating and providing you with different concepts and different ways of seeing things. Is not to run behind you. So there is a level of discipline that is required for large amounts of success. I do believe, with social media, you can have success and not change but it's fleeting. If you want ongoing success, ongoing financial freedom, ongoing multiple streams of income, the ability to choose your schedule, the ability to choose what's in your bank account, the ability to choose what you drive, and not, oh, let me get this because this is in my budget, but this is what I want, so this is what I'm going to get. If you're really interested in that life, there is a level of discipline that is required. There is a level of discipline that is required. And so I'm going to talk about, hopefully, no, I'm going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about 3 ways to discipline yourself into more money. Let's see what's happening here. I'm not sure. I don't know what that was about. 3 ways to discipline yourself into more money. I would get a notebook. I'm going to give you a half a second to grab something to write on, or write in your phone, or I don't know, something like that. But 3 ways to discipline yourself into more money. One way is, which is a very underrated. I remember years ago I taught on this and people went insane. But one of the most underrated ways to create more discipline, which creates more success, is to write down what you're trying to accomplish and create a plan. Like, I've gone through the money schedule and I might go through that again in 2023, but it's the most underrated thing. For Christmas, amongst other things, I gave my clients these really decorative. You know, it had to be real cute, real, you know, we doing luxury for forever, especially in 2023. But I gave them these planners, which I break down on how to fully use them, how to maximize them, but I gave them planners. Like, we moving to success, you're going to have all the big tools and all the small foundational tools. But one of the most, I think, underrated ways, because you don't see a lot of people, and then a lot of people, everything is so digital. Something that works and is tried and true is to literally write it down with your fingers and have it in front of you at your desk regularly. Now, I do have to sync my written calendar with my digital calendar, and then my digital calendar with my written calendar. But I don't sit with my digital calendar in front of my face. My paper, the calendar, my planner actually sits on my desk all day. Only time it really moves is if I go out of town or I have to go to a meeting, and then, you know, I have to sync everything, which is, it's work, you know, that's what I be hiring people for. Girl, it's just that alone, trying to get them calendars together. I be having everything written down, and still, if you send me a meeting request and it doesn't make it to the calendar, like it didn't happen. You know how many stuff I be, that's another. But the money, it sinks. You know. But number one, write down what you want to accomplish, and then a plan. Because you can't execute a plan if there is no plan. So that's number one. Discipline yourself to write out what you want. If you are confused about how that looks and what that looks like, get 21 Day Word Revolution, my first book. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Walmart, my website. It's everywhere. Everywhere you want to be. There's an audio version on my website. If you're interested in that, DM me. I can give you an easier link to get there. But it is on my website. It breaks down how to write down goals. We're not going there. But then, write out action steps to execute the plan. Like, I wrote out my plan. Now I want to actually accomplish my plan. That's number one. Number two, this is one of my favorite. A lot of times, now there was a time when I was getting my PhD, I did not watch very much TV, and that habit stayed with me for years. And then the pandemic hit, right? The pandemic hit, and no matter how much I worked and worked out, there was still a lot of time. So I started watching more TV. Now I watch more TV than I have in many, many years. But even then, and you know, people laugh, I have to watch it early in the morning or it's not going to get watched because I fall asleep at night and then during the day I'm busy. But even then, when I'm working on something, there is a level of discipline that shows up where I remove anything that I could watch TV on from my... Now, this is me. This is because what I want in life might be different from what you want in life. But I remove what... Like, anything I can watch TV on from my room. So there is no falling asleep watching TV. You do something else productive. But I cut out activities that waste my time. I cut out... Like, when I was getting my PhD, I didn't even go out. I didn't go out. And then do a lot of stuff. That's why I was able to finish it really quickly. But when you're trying to discipline yourself into more money, a lot of frivolous activities. I'm not talking about times that you dedicate to enjoying yourself. I'm talking about wasting your time on things that don't matter on a regular basis. Like, stop wasting your time on things that do not matter on a regular basis. Like, so you might have to reduce or eliminate TV time for a while you're trying to accomplish something. You may have to reduce or eliminate time you hang out with people who don't have the same ambitions, drives, and goals as you. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to do it at all, but there are going to be shifts if you're trying to accomplish something different. But cut out stuff that wastes your time. TV is one of the big ones. Scrolling on a lot of... Now, I scroll on social media, but a lot of times I'm scrolling to save sounds, look at trends, understand how people are winning. Like, have a goal in mind. And then if you have a goal, you're not going to spend a lot of time just wasting on that. I have notifications. I'm giving y'all all the goods. I have settings in my phone that if I'm on social media too long, it says you're doing too much. You've surpassed your allocated time for this app. Do that. Because we don't wasting time. You don't have time to waste. At some point, you're gonna be older than today, and then older than tomorrow, and then old. And you're gonna look back and wish, if you're wasting time, that you would have used your time more wisely. So the second way to discipline yourself into more money is to cut out wasteful activities. The third one goes with the second one. When you cut out wasteful activities, you have to have things to replace them with, or you'll go back. So how many of you know, like when you break up with somebody and you know it was toxic, y'all break up, after a couple days, couple weeks, then a couple months, you start thinking about them again, and a lot of y'all double back? That's because you didn't replace that with something else. One reason some people move on so fast is because they had people in the lineup and they move on. You know, if that one don't work, get you two. You know how they go. But if you don't have something to put in its place, you're more likely to revert to what you know. I know it's trying to start running. We don't want that. And so instead of just doing more wasteful activities, start replacing it with things that aren't wasteful. So replace it with podcasts. I have a podcast, Women That Make Money. That's what we talk about, women that make money. Replace it listening to good podcasts that educate you on things you're trying to accomplish, which is number one. You got to know what you're trying to accomplish so you'll know what kind of podcast you need to be listening to, or you're going to find yourself listening to things that waste your time. Get you a book list. I have in my Amazon influencer account, or on my Amazon influencer page, and the link I believe is in my bio and on my website, I have a list of books that over the years I've loved, and I update it as consistently as I can. As my clients usually get on me, why you don't have that book on there you were telling me about? There's a list of books that have done wonders in my life and my business. Start reading. And some people don't recommend audiobooks. I think as much as you can, you should read the words and flip and stuff like that. But after I read a book, visually read it with my eyes and my hands, I then go and listen to it on audio for like a month, so I could really get the concepts. Because I read it, but I don't want to forget. I want to hammer down. Like if it was something really good. One book I read, and if you want to know, send me a message or a DM. One book I read shifted my income 3 times. Like, so if I was making this amount, multiply that times 3. One book. Imagine if you read 12 a year. Imagine if you read 2 a year. One book. The last book I read multiplied my income by 3. I'm not bullshitting you. By 3. Because it was a skill that I was avoiding. And I said, okay, now you can't be at this level and want what you want and keep saying, oh, I'm just not. No. So I was like, let me master this skill. And I spent every additional moment, which means I couldn't waste time. Every moment I was sitting in the car. Every moment I was in the, like, I put time aside to read like an hour and a half each sitting. Because I used it in place of TV, social media, and stuff like that. So I had more time. And it multiplied my income by 3. So podcasts. There's some really good podcasts. I heard my podcast was rolling. Bruce out. Like I have, there's reviews on the podcast and on my Instagram page, and I think LinkedIn. But I heard it was awesome, and in my emails. I heard it was awesome. Books can change your life. I read The Secret of a Millionaire Mind when I first started in business. I got all kind of stuff that I wanted. I also had a plan. And then one of my favorites, this is all a part of number 3, which you can replace it, working out. Now, I think I'm going to do a whole episode, sit down conversation on the power of eating right and working out when you're trying to make more money. Like, you really just cannot have those negative bad habits with your health and really push through the way you need to push through for success. So, I'll recap in case you're just joining, in case you're writing down, you missed something. 3 ways to discipline yourself into more money. If I make a list, there's probably about 20 to 50 more, or 100 more, 1,000 more. But these are the 3 we're talking about. We'll get to other ones another time. But 3 ways, if we're trying to shift in 2023, 2024, 2025, 2022, whatever, you're trying to shift. Well, not in 2022, because we already out of that one. But if I'm trying to shift my life to make more money, core principles, whether I'm a new entrepreneur, aspiring person to garner financial freedom, or I have been in business for many years and I'm doing a damn thing. You need to write down what you want to accomplish and make a plan. Number 2, cut out all wasteful activities during that time. I say for at least 6 months. At least 6 months. Wasteful activities. Any time that you do something for yourself should also be planned. Like, when I get off here, I'm going to schedule a call to go to the spa. Because it's time. And I be needing a massage. But it should be very intentional self-care, very intentional family time, very intentional friend time, very intentional, hanging out. Like, it shouldn't just be, oh yeah, girl, I ain't doing nothing. Because then, how you not doing nothing? What kind of success you trying to get? And then number 3, for the wasteful activities that you cut out, replace them with more influential, intentional things like podcasts. Women That Make Money is a great podcast. Books. I have a book list on my Amazon influencer page. And then working out. I keep looking over here because that's what my notes say. So those are the things that I would recommend. If you have questions about others, you can always send me a message. But yeah, that's what I would. Let me see. That's what I would do if I was. That's what I do. I want to watch a movie right now. Like, there's a movie literally right now I want to watch, but I'm working.